It seems like it's flooding everywhere nowadays.
We've had a record snow season in the upper Midwest. Even more is on the way from the storms we are talking about right now. But before the end of the week, snowmelt from this season creates flood risk. In between these spring showers and the quick warm-ups that we've had, we've got water flowing fast along the Mississippi River, and it's threatening some towns. The city of Davenport is already exercising their flood plan. Davenport likely will be the epicenter for some of this intense anxiety about flooding. Fox Weather's Robert Ray is there now in Davenport. Robert, you were talking about how fast the water is flowing along the river. The Mississippi is very wide and mighty, and in some places it's more than 2,000 feet across. That means that it can typically slow the flow in a big river like that to, you could almost walk the pace. But it's flowing so fast right now, that would not be possible.
Exactly, Amy. And you look at the water rushing here, and we were just talking about this since we started reporting this morning before the sun came up. This water is actually on the rise as it continues to slush and swirl in a pocket of a park here in Davenport that is not supposed to see water by any means. And we're starting to see, debris like tree branches come in, and you see the water come over like that right now. And that's the issue, is that as it continues to come up, and it's hovering around 15 feet according to the National Weather Service above where it should be. 18 feet is major flood stage, but you see and you hear it. So where did it all begin? How did we get in this place, and where are we headed? Let's watch. In the upper Midwest, winter 2023 was relentless. Now, all the snow is melting and the rivers are rising.
We expect to flood every year. That's just what we do. We live with the river.
Hundreds of miles to the south, the snowmelt is flowing down the mighty Mississippi River. In Davenport, Iowa, Mayor Mike Batson and the entire community are preparing and bracing.
There is a prediction, a decent chance for a major flood. So here in Davenport, we have 9 miles of riverfront. So depending on the level of the flood, so floods, when it goes to 13, we're already there. Our west end, we already engaged 24-hour shifts of manning our pumps and our stations.
Flowing south through the Iowa and Illinois border, the Mississippi River is hovering around 15 feet above normal. The National Weather Service categorizes that number as flood stage. You drive around the Quad Cities and you see the water beginning to encroach on roads. And I want to give you one example as I'm going to stop the vehicle and get out and show you the rise of the Mississippi River right now. Pop out and try to be safe here. But look at this if you can. This is the mighty Miss. That is Davenport, right over the bridge area. And you see this road here will be covered in water in a matter of a week, potentially even 2. This will be all unpassable as the river continues to make its increase.
As the climate warms and warms, this flooding, the extreme weather that's going around the nation and around the world is going to keep getting worse. It's like with the massive amounts of rivers drying up, and then, water has to go somewhere. So in other places, it's going to flood. Some places are going to dry out, and it's just going to end up getting worse and worse.
Major flood stage is 18 feet and is expected. The hope here is that precipitation stays minimal.
Because that's what happened in 2019. We had a big flood and then a deluge of rainfall on top. That's what caused the huge issue.
Well, many of those levees have already been breached. Here in Davenport, temporary barriers.
And as you can see in this video from 4 years ago, downtown streets underwater. Homes and businesses were wiped out. In total, 8 states experienced the wrath of the river and excessive rainfall.
Since then, they've taken steps to reduce the impact that flooding has.
City officials and the Army Corps of Engineers are making sure the pumps are working and up to par. Plus, training employees on how and when to start building makeshift flood walls, which will begin in the days ahead.
It's part of living here, I suppose. It'd be similar to forest fires out west or mudslides on the California coastline. If you're a native, you've grown up with it, and if you're new, you're going to experience it within a handful of years.
Indeed, and back here live, you're taking a look at the rushing Mississippi River over the lock and dam here. And, you know, this is the Quad Cities, Amy, about 600,000 people in total population. Rock Island, Illinois, across the river. You have Moline, you have Bettendorf, and where we're at, Davenport, Iowa. Clearly no stranger to flooding. I mean, I've been on the ground here in 2019 for the historic, back in 2008, back in 2011. They know how to deal with this, but the issue is with that incredible snowpack up north and the melt and precipitation, more precipitation that just adds to the issues here. And I have to say, it is amazing to see. Yesterday, these fences, these gates here, so to speak, that lead out for tourists to walk down steps that normally would be here, have really just been submerged even since yesterday and since early this morning. And you look at this, all of the water sloshing and coming in, and it's up and down this area. And remember, it's not just the Quad Cities that are going to feel the brunt of the Mississippi rushing down. You've got communities like St. Louis, Vicksburg, Mississippi, Baton Rouge, New Orleans. This is going to be weeks, maybe even well over a month. We just hope that the rain doesn't come down on top of this already fast-moving system as you see it just moving through this gate and fence, slushing through.